Hello and welcome to today's session. Today, we would be learning about brand personality and traits. The objectives for today's session are to understand what is a brand, to describe brand personality, and to understand different dimensions of brand personality along with different traits. Now, let us start from the origin of the word brand. The word brand is taken from the language Old Norse, which means to burn. Farmers, usually to mark their animals or livestock, they used to use iron rods, heat them up, and they used to burn the skin lightly. This was done to identify the cattle or the livestock. And in marketing, also, more or less the same function is performed by a brand. A brand is there to make sure that the customer understands that which brand is coming from which seller and how customers can differentiate as far as perception is concerned. Now, as the definition given by American Marketing Association goes, brand is anything which is a name, term, sign, symbol, or design, or a combination of them intended to identify the goods and services of one seller or from a group of sellers and to differentiate them from those of competition. Now, it is very simple to understand that a brand could be comprising of anything starting from a name, term, sign, symbol, or a design. Here we can look into an example, very simple example. Examples of two different soft drink suppliers is provided here. On the left hand side there is a shape of a bottle which is represented, and on the right hand side there is a blue can with a logo. Now obviously without any surprise, almost everybody would be able to identify which two brands I am talking about. These two brands are none other than the iconic brands Coca-Cola and Pepsi. They have been marketed so well that even the shape of the bottle and the color, and with a combination of a logo on the right hand side, it is very easy to identify which brand we are talking about. This exactly is a function of a brand, as it is also explained in the definition, that the main job of a brand is to create a perception in the minds of a consumer that this particular product is coming from which supplier and what perceived benefits are associated with that particular brand or a product. So when a consumer has a prior experience with that brand, so he or she would be able to associate those benefits, those advantages or disadvantages with that brand. Now, going forward, what is a brand personality? Personality, as it is understood, human possesses, and it is a combination of different traits or characteristics. Similarly, in brand as well, brand personality is human-like characteristics or traits that usually consumers associate with a brand. And brand personality is something that a consumer can relate to. Now, it is not very easy to identify what personality a brand is possessing through the means of quantitative research, but it would be slightly more easier to identify the same with the help of qualitative research. Researchers can ask open-ended questions such as, if the brand were to come alive as a person, what would it be like? What would it do? What would it wear? Where would it live? And who would it talk to if it went to party? And probably we can also ask a question, and what would it talk about in that particular party? So these questions are usually asked to respondents, rather customers, in order to understand that how a customer is perceiving different brands. And there could be a comparison between competitors, and a comparative analysis could be made to understand that how a customer is relating a particular brand to certain personalities. Now let us look into a framework which is given by Jennifer Aker. She has done an extensive research and found out that there are different traits such as down to earth, family oriented, small town. Looking at this composition, which is honest, sincere, and real, this all traits were identified after an extensive research, and after running the factor analysis, it was known that these traits put together represent different facets. So looking at these three traits, down to earth, family oriented and small town, it represents the facet which is down to earth. Looking at this combination, which is intelligent, technical and corporate, it represents a facet which is known as intelligent. Now further doing the research, Jennifer Ecker wanted to combine this 15 different facets into something called as dimensions or factors. So it came out that upon combining this four different facets, which are down to earth, honest, wholesome and cheerful, one dimension was created which is known as sincerity. So brand is known to be sincere when it possesses these four characteristics or a combination of any one, that would be converted into a brand which is having a personality which is sincerity. Similarly, these facets were combined and the factor which was created was excitement. This three upon combination created competence, charming and upper class created sophistication, and for ruggedness, the facets which were representing ruggedness were tough and outdoorsy. Now looking at these five different personality factors or dimensions, we can discuss each separately. When four different facets are combined, which are down to earth, honest, wholesome, and cheerful, sincerity brand personality dimension is created. And as we know that there are three brands, there are many, I've taken three as an example: Hallmark, Amazon, and Cadbury. All three are representing sincerity. Now, talking about excitement, the facets which are representing excitement are daring, spirited, imaginative, and up to date. And when it comes to excitement, it is very obvious that we can relate to Red Bull, Coca-Cola, and Nike. Talking about the brand personality dimension competence, we want the brand to be reliable, intelligent, top-notch intelligence should be there. It should be highly successful as well. And the examples which are very obvious are Google and Intel. Talking about the brand personality dimension, which is sophistication, the brand should be upper class, it should be charming. Usually these brands are expensive in nature. As we all know, price is an indicator of quality, and by setting a price on a higher side, they are also trying to give a signal to the customers that these products are very qualitative. The examples of which are Tiffany, Rolex, and Apple. Talking about the last dimension, ruggedness, the brand is outdoorsy, it is tough. The examples of which are very obvious: Woodland, Harley Davidson, and Range Rover. So, in today's discussion, we tried understanding what is a brand. We saw what different traits are identified. Traits were then converted into 15 different facets by research, and further clubbing together 15 different aspects, we got brand personality dimensions, which are sincerity, excitement, competence, sophistication, and ruggedness. It is very obvious that a brand might be possessing a combination of two or three different personality dimensions, but usually a brand will not go for many dimensions because it might really confuse the customer that what this brand stands for. Thank you so much.